come to side. Lift and roll shoulders. Lift your toes and place the toes down. Just take an in and an out breath. And then breathing in, raise the right arm, stretch it up, breathing out, slide over to the left, chin comes into the chest. Breathing in, come to upright and lower the right arm. Breathing in, raise the left arm, stretch it up, right hand against the right thigh. Breathing out, slide to the right. Breathe in, come to upright, and breathing out, lower the left arm. Lift and roll shoulders. Clasp the hands behind you and just stretch, lifting up the chest. Lift up your eyes. Just lift the arms away, hands away from you, and turn slightly to the left. Come to the centre, and breathing out, turn slightly to the right. Come to the centre. Release the hands. Breathing in, raise the arms up. And as you breathe out, turn to the right and lower your arms. Breathe in, raise the arms up as you come back to the centre. And breathing out, turn to the left. Breathing in, raising up, thumbs together, and just gently sway from side to side. Come to the centre and lower the arms. Lift and roll the shoulders and place the hands on the waist, maybe your feet a little bit wider, to be comfortable enough to bend your knees. You can look down. Feel your abdominal muscles engage slightly. You can engage your perineum up to support this, and then breathing in, just come to upright and lower the arms. Just place the hands underneath the navel and breathing in, raise the hands up, reverse and stretch up. Breathe out, lower the arms. If that's stiff in your shoulder at all, always bend your elbows. Breathing in, reverse, stretch up, breathing out, lower the arms. This is also a shoulder exercise. Breathing in, raising up, stretch, and lower. Lift and roll the shoulders. Fingertips to the collarbones. Breathing in, hands out. Breathing out, hands up. You can lower your chin to your chest, which will stretch out your neck and keep you naturally. And then just circle the wrists down and circle the wrists the other way. And then just shake your hands out. And then brain coordination, hemispheres. Breathing in, raise the right arm up. Very familiar, circling your wrists one way. And circle your wrists the other way. And now it's a question of do as I say, but not as I do, because I can't really do this. Well, circle it one way with one hand, and the opposite way with the other hand. You want to get into the groove. And then just release. Lift and roll your shoulders. it's going to be the same thing. One way, the other way. And when you're ready, optionally attempt, just, right, okay, both ways, different ways. And then just let your hands. Lift and roll the shoulders. Hands out and hug. Come forward and just sway from side to side. So this opens the upper back and also the back of the shoulders. Coming up, remember which hand's on top to open out and hug the other way. And then just release. Shoulders. And then breathing in, hands up, clasp and reverse. Just laterally to one side, come to the centre, stretch up to the other side. Breathing in, stretch up to the centre, turn slightly to one side. Come back to the centre and breathing out, turn to the other side. Come to the centre. Just release the hands and just fly. You can have your feet slightly wider if that suits you. So you're moving all joints here. And then just release the hands, lift and roll the shoulders, and slide your hands down to your shins. Press into your shins, half lift. Breathing out, curl in. Breathe in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees and roll up to standing. Breathing in, hands up. And just circle your wrists down. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then again, just hands down. Turn them up, lift them halfway and then turn them again. Lateral one way, centre and lateral the other way. Come to the centre, turn one way, centre and turn the other way. Come to the centre. Release the hands onto the waist. Breathing in, lengthen the body, lengthen the spine, and turn to look over one shoulder. Come back to the centre, and turn to look over the other shoulder. Come to the centre, just bend your knees, perineum engages, so core focus. Breathing in, coming up to standing. Clasp the hands behind your back. It's a back bend, so lifting the chest. Look up with your eyes. Bring your head to centre. Separate your hands and slide the hands down to the shins, half lift. Breathing out, curl in. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. Breathing in, soften the knees and roll up to standing. Breathing in, thumbs together, and just sway from side to side. Come to the centre, clasp and reverse the hands, and just lift your heels, see how balance is today. Well done. Lower the heels, lower the hands. Shoulders. And then this very familiar swaying from side to side. And start to slowly sway down. Just come to stand still. Lifting over the shoulders. Hands together at the heart centre. Just lift your elbows and press the palms together. This you'll feel under your arms. And then just release. And come to bend your knees. And come to seated, but legs out in front of you. And just need to possibly move this. And just bounce your legs rather than pat or anywhere. Legs, just circulation boosting. And just come to place the hands to either side, toes up and toes away. Just a couple of times. And then just circle the ankles in one direction. And the other direction. And then just sitting up, hug the right knee into the chest. Lift the right foot off the floor and sit upright so you'll engage your tummy. And then just open the right leg to the right, resting the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And use your left hand to manually circle your ankle in one direction. And then circle it in the other direction. And then just thread your fingers through your toes. If you can't bear to do that, put your hand over. It's not as good. And then just stretch your toes forwards and backwards, opening the lung meridians into the sinus.
That's right, yes.
You can easily just circle your ankle as well. And then just gently hug the right knee into the chest and slide the right leg out. Just massaging your right knee as you go. And then slide your hand to your left leg, hugging the left knee into the chest. Lift the left foot off the ground and sit up straight. So you pull your tummy in. And then opening your left knee to the left. Use your right hand to circle your ankle, your left ankle, one way. And then the other way. And then just threading your fingers through your toes or over the top if you can't bear that. You've got socks on. So brilliant for circulation, this. And just release, hugging the left knee back into the chest. And then just slide the left leg out. Just hand fingertips to either side to lengthen the body. Tummy in, lead with the chest, and just slide your hands down your shins. A very gentle forward bend. Toes are up. If you've got long hands, hold your big toes or hold the outside of your feet. Otherwise, just rest on your shins. Back of the neck is long. Chin is into the chest. And it's very calming for the nervous system. Activating the vagus nerve. Back of the neck long means that you're not crunched up in your neck. You're allowing blood just to flow freely. And we're not coming too far forward, squashing things, or because we step back, that can, too far forward can be a bit much. And then just very gently come to sliding up, lift, and roll the shoulders. So we're going to come to a different type of nice yin yoga. So this is for the lung, the heart and the intestine. It's quite a short session and it will be something very familiar to you. We've got bolsters there if you need them. But we start with soles of the feet together, and Sue might like to ask Sue, or Sue might like to highlight a point of the body for the day to focus on.
Any requests?
Any requests?
Special requests? But as it's easy, your lower lymphatic system is all around your ankle bones, inside and outside, but obviously sitting like this you can only do the inside. So if you just press your thumbs gently round the bones in just the fleshy areas just outside, which might be tender if you've not been well or not feeling very good. It doesn't mean anything. It's necessarily terribly wrong. It just could be your immune system sort of launched off, to fight something. So that's that. Then you can do the outside, obviously, if you're sitting the other way. But so that's your lower lymphatic system around your ankle bones.
It's very soothing to massage around your ankles, isn't it? And you're also opening your hips, so blood flow in the lower abdominal area as well. It's one of the movements that they give for cancer. Believe it or not, in the Iyengar cancer training, which you do absolutely nothing, and they'll have people against a wall, very supported, lots of cushions. They'll have lots of pillows under here to support this, and often the legs are slightly higher. And they'll have lots of pillows here. I go backwards through the door. And they'll have the arms slightly out, and they'll do nothing more than that because it puts you in a better breathing position, because you're slightly lifted here. Your upper lymphatic system is getting space. And your lower absolutely is getting space. And it's one of the universal resting positions for anybody who's got cancer, to give the immune system, rest, breath, and immune system. And they'll keep you like this for you. They absolutely, because people almost half asleep, they're very supported with pillows and just opening here and opening there, and to whatever degree. So if you're open here, that can pull after a while, but just lots of support there. And they won't have you doing an awful lot more, and various resting positions, very supportive resting positions. And it's for men as well, because men often have prostate kind of issues, and so opening here is excellent for men for space within the lower lymphatic system. So not letting it all hang out is a really valid thing to note. So yes, so it is very valuable. It's supposed to be very valuable for menopausal women, sometimes supporting with a bolster underneath the hips to bring blood back to the lower abdominal area, and slightly rebalancing the hormonal system if you're slightly elevated on the hip area, and it's restful for the heart. So it's kind of quite interesting. So just enjoy any movement that you want to do, any massaging over any dodgy areas of your feet. You've also got, in Chinese medicine, just below the ankles, it's running along the bone, so it's almost there. You've got a couple of major acupressure points here. And you're going to ask me what they are, and there are several of them. The stomach is definitely one of them, the digestive system. But it's more than that. There's like, I've got a feeling kidney might be running along there as well, but just where it's tender, just behind the ankle. Anywhere on the foot that's tender is quite a good place to, I guess, focus, not a bastion or something. And just enjoy that. And then come to support your legs to bring them up. You've got your bolster there, and the next thing that we're going to do is seal. So seal is uplifting, again quite good. So for just stretching out the front, you might or might not need the bolster, that depends on you. So and your comfort. So seal is like Sphinx on your front. You can have any support or not, and you might want it under your forehead. Sphinx is elbows in a little bit. Seal is elbows out. Now you can lift up, having your elbows off the ground. That's a little bit too much for me. So just to lie wherever you want to. You can have your head resting down, or you can disregard the support altogether. Your feet are slightly wider than they might be normally. And just find a comfortable position. As I said, if you want to rest your head down, that's fine. Taking a strain out of your neck. You want to come up. I've got my feet tucked under, but you have your feet completely flat on the ground. It encourages you to breathe. Your tummy kind of goes against the floor, and that kind of inflates your breath and guides the breath slightly differently. And in this kind of yin type practice, you stay here normally for between 3 and 5 minutes. I'm not going to suggest we do that quite, but feel you can adjust your elbows if you need to. It's stretching out at the front. So it's a focus on your breath as well, and it is uplifting at the chest, so it's almost like a back bend. So it's uplifting for the mood, it's uplifting for the chest and giving space for all the internal organs. Lying here and seal, I'm going to now, you can stay here, or you might like to just subtly adjust, bend at the knees, and just slightly rock from side to side. I've got my head resting on the bolster. And then with your feet up, you can circle your ankles a couple of times in one direction. And then circle the ankles a couple of times in the other direction. And then just sway your feet slightly from side to side. And very gently lower the feet down to the ground. And we're going to think about coming into child's pose. So perhaps lift up a little bit, bring your elbows in. When you're ready, tummy in. And just lift up on your knees, coming into, when you're ready, child's pose. And you might want to have your knees slightly wider apart. Your bottom might want to be higher in the air. I quite like to rest my forehead on my bolster. And your hands can be in front, just in a little bit. Your hands can be behind. Just be comfortable. And this again is quite nice for the lower back. So you're activating some meridians here. So the focus is the meridians are paired. You've got lung and heart and intestine kind of being targeted here. And again, in child, you've got the back, breathing focus into the back. Your head, especially if it's on a bolster, is supported, and so the spine and head are kind of vaguely parallel to the ground, so it's kind of a restful position. It's helpful for headaches, so the blood isn't rushing away from the head quite so much. We're going to keep the child's shape. You might want to make adjustments with your knees or lifting your bottom up a little bit. But effectively keeping the child's shape. And we come into quarter dog. So staying where you are, being comfortable, just slide your left arm straight along the mat. You can lift your left elbow off the ground. You'll feel a stretch on your left side. If you want to increase that stretch, just move your fingers of the left hand subtly over to the left. But just be relaxed. You can bend your left elbow if you want to. You can have the left elbow on the ground or off the ground. And apart from the stretching on the left side, you'll also feel the stretch under your arm as well, which comes into the upper lymphatic system. And you can play if you're getting stiff to have your bottom up slightly, or even tuck your toes. Just again, be comfortable. So stretching the intercostal muscles like this is helpful for lung capacity, switching out. And one of the 5 back movements, 6 back movements of perfect health. And then very gently slide your left arm back down and readjust and comfortable as you slide your right arm up above you to your comfort. Do the same on the right side. With the option to just move your right fingers slightly in to the left. You want to give a greater stretch to the right side. And just very gently slide your right arm back. And this time, for a very short space of time, you're going to slide both arms forward. So it's a greater, fuller forward stretch. Your elbows might come off the ground, but if they want to stay on the ground, that's fine. Stretching evenly. It's all very calming for the nervous system. And then very gently slide the hands towards you as you very gently come slightly up, drop your bottom to the side. We're going to come to lie on our backs. Knees bent to start with. And actually come to having the knees into the chest. So this is an upside down child. And just very gently rock from side to side. And then for the hips, just circle your knees away from one another. Think about circling them in the opposite direction. And then hug the knees together, and with the knees as one unit, just circle both knees in one direction. And you'll find the weight focuses on the lower spine, just massaging around in a little circle. And your circle can be tiny, or it can be a wider circle, which will then come to incorporate almost the top of the bottom, just slightly wider. And then circle both knees as a single unit in the opposite direction. And then very gently, holding underneath your legs, just place one foot and then the other foot onto the ground. Feet are hip width apart or wider. And just bend the elbows as you raise your elbows above you. You can hold, your hands can hold your wrists or your elbows. They might or might not touch the ground. You're stretching out the arms. If that's not comfortable or pulling too much, then just bring your elbows closer together and you might bring your elbows off the ground. Just be comfortable. And then just start to sway the knees from side to side. And you might find that you want to widen your feet towards the edges of the mat. And if you want to, you can linger on one side or the other. You don't have to keep swaying. The more you drop over to the side, the more you'll massage across the bottom. You can lift your feet, you can really roll onto one side. And really take your time to roll onto the other side, lifting the hip and the elbow to the side. And very gently come to have your knees upright, centrally. And very gently breathing out, release your arms, your hands back down to the mat. And you might want to press your feet into the earth just to lift your bottom and set it down again so that it feels more central. Palms down alongside you along the mat. And just a couple of pelvic tilts in your own time, moving and massaging across the lower back, up and down the spine. Come to relax. Bring your feet out towards the edges of the mat and let your knees drop together to constructive rest. And your hands can just rest how it's comfortable to you on your abdomen, or you can open your palms up just away from you. And breathing in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth a few times. Just let the breath go. And bring your attention to your feet and the muscles of your feet and just relax them. Ankles are relaxed. Your shins and calves, knees and back of the knees relaxed. Tops of your legs, underneath thighs, pelvis rests on the ground, heavy and relaxed. The abdomen moving up to the stomach, through the chest, and spreading out to the shoulders along the arms, the elbows, inside and outside, back of the elbows, along the forearms, and relax the wrists, the palms of the hands, backs of the hands, and the fingers, and the space beyond the fingers, relaxed. Bringing your attention now to the base of the spine and moving along the vertebra, up the spine. Feel heavy between the shoulder blades as the back rests on the ground, spreading the shoulders. And up in between the shoulders, back of the neck, the back of the head is relaxed on the ground. The ears, the space between the ears. Moving up to the top of the head, crown, and across the head, dropping down to the forehead, smoothing mentally across your brow. The eyebrows are relaxed, and the eyes rest in the sockets. Just moving down to either side of your cheeks, your cheekbones, down to the jaw. Holds so much tension. And just soothing out the jaw, running along the jawline and dropping down to the throat. Neck relaxed. And just moving your attention up from the throat to the chin, the lower lip, the upper lip, the teeth, the tongue. And just rest your attention at the base of the nostrils. Notice the air as you breathe in. Slightly cooler, and as you breathe out, the air is just very gently and slightly warmer. The breath should be smooth, soundless. In and out. Notice the breath. Notice any sensations when you're lying on the mat, and sound in and outside. And take a moment to have a thought for the day for yourself, for anyone close to you. It's called a sankalpa. Just think that thought again a couple of times, and then let it go and know that it's set in your intention for the day. And then very gently, when you're at home, you might want to hug your knees into your chest and move your fingers and toes. And then once more to slightly rock from side to side. And then taking your time to come to the side, to your right if it's available to you, but otherwise come to, in your own time, a gentle seated position. And just bring your hands together at the forehead. Kind thoughts. Drop your fingers and hands down to the lips, kind words. And then drop them to the heart, kind deeds.